When it comes to sex, there is a wide pleasure gap between men and women. In fact, according to research, over 50% of women do not orgasm during sex. Women are saying that the men do not take their time to pleasure them. They even claim that most men do not understand the importance of orgasm to the health, physical, and mental well being of the women. Today on Love Unlocked Unscripted, we are going to look at the topic what it takes to pleasure a woman and the myths of orgasm. My name is Akosia Konedu Owusu. I'm your host. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Love Unlocked Unscripted. You know my name already. My name is Akosia Konedu Owusu. And today, to help me do this discussion, I have my sisters, Queen Nita. Welcome to Love Unlocked Unscripted.
Pleasure.
And do you remember her? Afua. Welcome back. Well, ladies, my first question to you people, you women, are you becoming too difficult to pleasure?
No.
Are you sure we are not becoming too difficult? Because we seem to be complaining so much about how men are not able to pleasure us.
No, I don't think we're becoming difficult to please. I think that it's more of the fact that we've become very we've become very sexually liberated as women,
That is the word.
and because we have that, we are consciously aware of our sexuality, and we are embracing our sexuality, and we want to explore and express ourselves sexually. It's that liberation that is making it seem as though we are difficult to please, because unfortunately, as we keep going forward as women, as we keep discovering our sexuality, as we keep accepting who we are as women sexually, I think that our men have been left behind, and so they've not been able to keep up the pace with us, and our men have not, by orientation, come to the knowledge or the awareness that the women of our mother's generation and our grandmother's generation and the women of our generation are different, are not the same. And so even though they were nurtured by women of our mothers and grandmothers generation, unfortunately, as the women of this generation and the generation that's coming after us, as they have reached a point of sexual liberation, unfortunately our men have not been able to be carried along on that journey.
Right.
And that is where we are having the problem. But we are not difficult to please at all.
Afua, what does it take? What does it really take to pleasure a woman?
I don't think it takes nothing much to pleasure. The thing is, you just have to know your woman,
Right.
because it might be that somebody might touch your hands and it arouses you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that when you touch Queen Nita
Yeah.
by the hands, she's going to be aroused.
Right.
So it's an individualistic study that every man have to do on the woman that comes your way.
Right.
Yes, I mean, what she said is, I'm just adding to what she said in the sense that every woman is different, and for the things that, for the things that arouses one woman may not necessarily arouse another woman. There are certain women that they are very sensitive at the back of their necks. Some are very sensitive by their nipples.
Right.
Some are very sensitive by being fingered.
Right.
You get it? So, like she said, if you take your time as a man to explore your woman's body and you find out the parts of her body that makes her aroused, right? Or becomes more sensitive to touch, or when being caressed, you realize that as you play with those most sensitive parts of her sexually, you bring her, half of the job is done.
Right.
Because already then her body is yearning for you.
Yeah.
So whatever you do afterwards, the thrust, the romance and all that, those things, it's just an addition that gets you closer for her, and that gets you closer for her to get her orgasm, and you don't have to do too much of the work involved.
But are there women that do not feel any form of sensitivity on their bodies? Has there ever been something like that?
I think if there's a woman like that, then I think it's a condition.
Okay.
Then you have to see your gynae to check up and see if everything, because I know that every human being, whether woman or man, has some kind of sensitivity. And sometimes too, we are taking us aback small. I think that our men don't even prepare our minds towards what we are going to have. Because especially, I think that when boyfriend, girlfriend relationship is there, to me, I might be wrong, but they enjoy sex more.
Than when you get to the marriage for
Yes, but when people are married, because mommy have a lot of chores, is a career woman, he's doing that, and you are stressed out, and you need something to relax your body before this process. That men think that so far as I need it, give it to me.
Yeah. So
he is not even concerned about bringing you to his apart to his pleasure.
Right.
So when it becomes like, some of them even tend to some funny quarrels in the house. You see, you have not done anything, but they are giving you moods.
Yeah.
So I think that men should also look at that, and it will help.
Yeah.
Yes, because especially if something has happened, the person is still in pain. You've not even tried to apologize, try to bring up the trust to a level where, because sex is done out of love. I see that when you love somebody, you are easily aroused.
It's true.
Yes, or when you have a feeling towards somebody, even when you are just sitting with a person and the person haven't even touched you. So far as you people are in some awkward corner somewhere, you're going to have it.
Sometimes even it's just the mere thought of the person
That
arouses you. When there is a certain
So-
strong affection for.
So when all those things are put in place, well, I think that there won't be a demand of pleasuring a woman.
Right, because you already know what it is that you're doing. Right. So this question actually kept coming in my mind, like, how important is reaching orgasm to a woman? Because I've actually heard other women claim that, oh, you can have enjoyable sex and still not orgasm.
True.
But how important is the orgasm, that act of orgasm in itself?
The effects.
Yes.
Okay.
How important is that to us?
Okay, so the female orgasm, like being the peak of all the stages of pleasure of sex, right? Intercourse. The female orgasm is just as a male orgasm.
Okay.
Because when a woman reaches the peak of her pleasure and she actually properly orgasms, she loses interest in sex.
Okay.
Her body just goes
It's like a balloon.
cold. Yes, just like how the men go flaccid
Yeah, right.
after the orgasm. The women, your body just also gives up, and you don't want to continue. Now the thing is that because most women have actually really never experienced the peak of it, of the orgasm, where the body itself just lets go. They think that sex is the number of rounds and the longevity and all that, because they are still in the process of enjoying the pleasure. So once you haven't peaked, you still desire and yearn for more. And there are so many ways that you can actually pleasure yourself or play with yourself during the act. And the act is not necessarily the thrust. The thrust is part of the act, but it's not necessarily the thrust. You can be masturbating, I mean, playing with your clitoris during the act that will help in you.
And don't you also think it depends on the kind of the partner you're doing this with? Because
That is why you need to have open conversations, like open sexual conversations with your partner. I always say that for me, I'm a very sexual being. Even though I'm very sexual, I'm not one who likes to have casual sex.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I'm with someone, okay, I openly talk about sex. And in fact, whilst in the act, I actually do express myself. So for instance, if we are in the act and let's say even the thrust is going on and it hits me a certain way, I'll tell you immediately to stop. I'm hurting.
Okay.
So I'll say, okay, maybe I'm feeling a bit too sensitive today in this position. So it's hurting. Can I turn?
Yeah.
Can we use a different position?
Right.
And when we change the position and I'm comfortable, that is the position we would use throughout.
Right.
Because I'm comfortable. I don't feel the sensitivity and all that. Now, a lot of women are not able to actually have conversations in the act. So if you don't have conversations in the act, how would you be pleasured? If I'm very excited and I feel like having if I'm in the mood, it's not all the time that I really actually want to orgasm. There are times I just want to just enjoy the moment and enjoy the act and all that.
That's one of the things I do not understand. How you want to actually enjoy
No, sometimes
sex,
you just want
to orgasm. Because I think that it is quite easy for not orgasm. Especially as we said previously that we are sensitive at certain parts of
the body, yes.
And there are people that just by the touch of that place, they can orgasm. So what is the difficulty?
For me, it takes no matter what happens, it takes forever for me to orgasm because I am too self-aware of my sexuality. I'm extremely self-aware of my sexuality, and so I know what to do if I want to orgasm. I know what to do. I know what to tell the man. I know how to condition my mind to bring me to that place. But I also sometimes I just want to enjoy it. Sometimes I enjoy the spasm, and all that. And not necessarily wanting to have the orgasm, because sometimes when you have the orgasm, you become just too tired and disinterested in the sex. And sometimes, like, I've really yearned for my partner. I've missed my partner.
And why not though? And why not though? Because when a man orgasms, his penis goes flaccid anyway.
Yes, but
and he rests until he comes back up.
Exactly.
So why can't, as a woman, I orgasm, rest, pick up my energy and come back?
There is this nice feeling of after spasm, after the act, where you'll be there and you have random spasms. Like you get it, like you've really enjoyed what you've done, and the place has become so sensitive after the act, and so you can be there, like maybe a few hours after, or maybe even the next day, you just be there, and you feel the spasm, and it's nice. But
do you really get that? But do you really get that thing if you have not orgasmed? If the intensity of it,
the intensity you see, so that the after spasms that you feel maybe a few hours or a day after intercourse,
that keeps making you smile.
Yes, that is your body. It's like close to orgasm.
Yes,
it's that close to orgasm feeling.
Yes,
so your body hasn't reached there yet.
It's difficult to even wash.
Exactly.
Girl, you have not answered my question.
I'm answering your question.
I think I'm getting tired of. Oh, okay.
Because the person it's that what she's saying. It's an individualistic something. It depends on the person. Yes. Somebody can get where she has gotten, and afterwards that fire will just die.
Exactly.
But somebody would get to that place and still have that feeling that is like some small electric shock
Mhm.
when you are walking and you feel it
so
small.
what you're telling me, if a woman does not orgasm, it doesn't mean she had bad sex.
No,
Yes.
no. But even coming whilst having sex,
Mhm.
squirting,
Mhm.
spasm,
Mhm.
and orgasm, which is the peak of it all, are all different
Yes.
stages
Yes.
of the sex.
Yes.
So some women come, but they don't spasm.
Mhm. True.
Some women spasm, but they don't squirt. Some women have squirted, but they've never orgasmed.
Right.
But there
But
are
you
some
know- but
women
you know-
who have
but you
had
know
the
that-
opportunity
but
to
you know-
experience all four.
But you know
And
that,
thank God,
but you know that squirting feeling is almost like
P.
Orgasm.
no, it's almost like
Orgasm, yes. So the squirting feeling is almost like orgasm. But the thing is that you see, how would I explain it?
Well,
But some people would squirt through orgasm.
Exactly.
Yes.
Some people squirt through orgasm.
because
Yeah.
Some people can actually just squirt without the orgasm. You understand? Some people can even be having spasms and orgasm.
Mhm.
Some people will start coming and then they'll orgasm.
Right.
Do you get
Right.
it? So everybody, and it also depends on how sensitive your body is.
Mm.
Fortunately for me, like I said, I'm too liberated sexually.
Mm.
Fortunately for me, I've experienced all those stages and I know how each of the stages are. Do you understand?
Mm.
And so I cannot just transition from one stage to the other without actually psychologically conscientizing myself that this is the state in which I want to be in. Yeah,
Right.
It's in the same way that if I'm being intimate with my partner and I'm just not in the mood because I'm upset or something, I will be available and all that and be very participatory.
Right.
But the truth is, I will not have that sensation that comes with enjoying the act. I will not feel it.
Right.
For me, it is just an obligation that I'm fulfilling.
Right.
Because with that, psychologically,
Logically, I'm
it's affecting
unavailable.
because sex
Yes.
starts from the mind.
Exactly.
So when the mind is not stable,
It's shut down.
yes,
That's it.
because you don't want to. But some people they want you to know
Yes.
that please,
Yes.
this is my mind
Mm.
because of this and that is not set up
Yeah.
for you. So
Right.
you know.
Are we as women also focusing too much on reaching orgasm? Because I remember I had a conversation with a group of guys, and they were like, nowadays all the women want to do is orgasm, and I was like, why the hell no?
Yeah, because they didn't know orgasm, and
there's
somebody
nothing
have
wrong with-
experienced it and
Yes.
tell them that and even people want to get it themselves. So people even touch their own self
Themselves. Yes.
just to see
How
how
it
it feels like.
See, one of the easiest
So they
way-
want the guys to make them feel
Feel-
that way.
one of the easiest way
I don't understand
for
why.
any woman to ever experience orgasm is to masturbate
Right.
and play with yourself.
Mm.
And I've always said that, look, let's put all the religious hypocrisy aside and all that. Any woman who has reached the sexual age must at least experiment with masturbation at least twice or thrice. Because the first time you don't really know what you're doing. The second time, because you've done it for the first time, so the second time it makes you more open to yourself. The third time you actually deliberately explore your body and parts of your body to know, like then you figure out what actually makes you tick and what makes you orgasm.
Doesn't it become a bit problematic? Because people have also said, because a lot more women are masturbating, a lot of more women are becoming aware of
Their
themselves,
sexuality.
it is making it difficult for them to have that pleasure with their men.
It's not
Oh,
true.
it's not true because
It's
I
not
think
true.
that it's you should not make it a habit.
Okay.
You see, you shouldn't make that a habit. But once you get to know what you want, I don't think that letting a man letting you get to orgasm is anything like forcing or giving pressure.
Right.
You see, because if the man knows what to do easily,
Mm-hmm.
it will sometimes it will even make the stressing nicer
Exactly.
because you are
Yes,
there and you are
yes,
sensitive.
yes,
So
yes.
as soon as he
Yes.
penetrates, then that is when, and I'm sure that when you are in that mood, sometimes consciously or unconsciously you get involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So I
now-
think that the
yes,
women that
that's
do
true.
who go and lie there like a log and all that, they are not able to express themselves, or nothing pushes them to get involved.
Yes.
But I think that when you are actually getting that feeling
Yes.
and what you are expecting, that something you can't even lie down because
Yeah.
the body is just on the way.
Let me go for a quick.
way.
Let me go for.
Okay.
Hold your thoughts there. Let me go for a quick break, and then we'll come and continue.
No.
Look, you've seen the fire. We'll go for a short break. We'll be right back.
This program is proudly supported by Vena Mineral Water, Mini Cakes by Ann Menzo, Just Wine 233, I Need Phones, Electronic Store, Amek Fashionable, Asis Looks, AK's Beauty Bar, and Type 1 Imagery.
Welcome back. Look, this is Love Unlocked Unscripted, and we are having such a blast. We are back, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, there's this complaint from most men that women are always complaining about the fact that men don't know how to pleasure them, men don't know how to do this. But we women don't even know which part of our bodies gives us pleasure. So if we don't know, how then do we expect them to know?
That's very true. And it then it then takes us back to what I said earlier, that every woman must at least masturbate thrice in their lifetime. The first one is a bit confusing because you don't even know how you're supposed to feel and all that. The second one is a bit more open because you.
So hold on. In masturbating, right, you are doing more of clitoral stimulation.
Clitoral stimulation, playing with your nipples, sometimes just touching your body and pleasuring yourself. You see, most people think that masturbating is just like clitoral massage. You get it, but really there is more to it, right? Sometimes you just go. There are some people that, like, sometimes you just go into the shower, right, and then they'll just open the shower head and then they'll just splash the warm water,
Right.
you know, and they'll all be sexy, and you get it. It's they are, and then they're in a zone. You understand? It's all part of self pleasure and masturbating.
Right.
Masturbating is not like strictly fingering yourself or using dildos. It's part of it.
Right.
Do you get me? There are times that people might even use dildos or sex toys, and though they are masturbating with it, but it doesn't really give them orgasm. Do you understand? But because they've masturbated with it and they've comfortably explored sex toys with their body, if introduced in the act with their partner, it becomes comfortable and easy, and they ease into it. Imagine someone who's never used an anal bead before, okay, and then you have a partner who is like freaky and all that, and then at one point you're talking about sex or you're in the act and all that, and your partner introduces anal beads, you'll be yes. But if you're someone who masturbates, as in play with yourself or give yourself self pleasure, and out of your own curiosity you've tried anal beads, should your partner even mention it or even introduce it into your sexual act, you are comfortable with it because you've tried it on yourself, and you know what makes you comfortable. So you know the depth, the size, and all that makes you comfortable because you've used it before. Sometimes even with dildos, do you get what I'm saying? Sometimes even with dildos, couples introduce dildos in their sex. Maybe some if you've never tried a dildo before, you don't know the speed, the vibration, the how do they call it, the studs on the dildos and all that, and your partner introduces like your partner is fingering you or something, and then but you just feel vibrations all over you because your partner has introduced how do they call it, a vibrator with spikes, and put it on the finger, and like, because you as a woman, you've not explored your own sexuality, it will feel strange.
But how comfortable though? How comfortable, especially with the kind of upbringing that we were brought up in that
conventional.
And
exactly,
conservative households, yes.
and most Ghanaian men. I mean, looking at how we were brought up in this conservative, no talk about sex kind of environment, I wonder how many men would even be comfortable to introduce additions.
Sexual toys.
Because the moment you mention sex toys, the focus is on dildos and vibrators.
No.
How comfortable do you think men would be
To
to
me,
such?
our men are hypocrites because they would want to explore that with a side chick. But as soon as they come to the house, because of this mentality that we still have, you think that if I introduce this into my home, it's going to be something else. But me, I feel that some men will be so comfortable when introduced, but as to how they will bring it up, and our nurturing too is a problem that a lot of us still haven't gotten that liberation that Nita is talking about, to the extent of going into sex toys because of the connotations that we are giving to sex toys. So I don't think that a lot of people, especially when it comes to those who are married, but I think those in a relationship, because when we're in a relationship, we are so wild and so
there is excitement.
We are just comfortable with anything.
I always wonder, like, when people are in relationships, they have good sex, they have amazing sex, and then the moment they get married, it's like some dullness has come to sit inside the marriage.
They settle into comfort. They become too comfortable, overly secure.
Right.
Because marriage gives you some sense of security. Right. It gives both the woman. You see, people get it wrong. People think that marriage only gives women sense of security. No, it gives men too sense of security. And once you have that, once the marriage takes place, and that sense of security happens the very moment the ring officially goes on the finger. I'm not talking about the promise ring. I mean the
marriage ring,
white and ring. I'm talking of the marriage ring, which is even the traditional marriage. The moment that traditional marriage ring goes on the finger, both parties just settle into this sense of security, as if that is the end of the world. Do you get it? And after that, maybe in the honeymoon, maybe for those who go for honeymoon, or maybe even for those who not go for honeymoon, maybe for the first month, the sex is exciting because it's all the adrenaline of being freshly married and all that kind of communities. After the second month, Charlie, they go back to like factory resetting. Like
you are married. Why do you think women get so comfortable such that we get to that point where even sex now becomes like a chore?
It becomes so because of the lot of responsibilities and whatever. Because some men are very difficult to live with. Because somebody will tell you that I don't eat a leftover food. You have your wife also have an 8 to 5 job, and when you go to your work site like a banker and you are in the front line, you're a front liner. See the kind of precious you have. Even the way some customer will even come and talk to you, it just takes away all your adrenaline. Like it just takes everything out of you. And when you come back home and your kids are not grown, when you go and somebody's pulling you, somebody just even calls you for no reason. And the time that you didn't want to have intimacy, that's when somebody say, "Mommy, I want to sleep here."
Precious of life.
You see, so you sometimes you just give up.
Right.
And I think age, sometimes age also make people withdraw from sex because some of the activities your body can take it.
But you see, I'm not truncating what you're saying, but for someone like me who is gone out with older men, to be very honest with you, age doesn't change sex. It is the two parties involved in the relationship. Age doesn't change sex, because I have gone out with older men, like middle-aged men, and the sex was amazing.
It was amazing because
you were younger.
It's not because you're younger. It was amazing because like what you said, they have been with you,
Yeah,
so they know that for me, not you. Like with people, they have a wife.
Yes, but I'm saying
and
that
at a certain age, like 50 plus.
I'm also saying that I've gone out with men my age, and the sex was boring.
Okay,
you get the point.
I get the point.
So for me, that's why I'm saying that age it's not even about. If the person is boring, the person is boring.
But sometimes it's a contributing factor, because let me tell you, maybe you are 50 years now, you have BP, you have diabetes. And all those drugs that you are taking, they have some effect on your potency. You see, and it even makes you a bit weaker. If you yourself, you are not conscious of yourself, that every morning you have a walk, you do other exercises to bring you to your state. That is why now men are so interested in all this sexual, drugs and all that.
You know that,
and even the kind of food that we the wives. Now the wives, we are not even, most of them, we are not even so enlightened that we don't even know that at even 40 years going, look at the kind of diet you even give to your husband, so that sexuality that you want to have and enjoy should be there. We are continuing giving even if it's fufu and bagu, looking at even somebody who wakes at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and that when you tell your husband don't come home 11, 10, they would not understand. So just do the food that you know that your husband would never eat outside. So just cook the kind of food that is good for that time for your husband.
Even soup. I'll tell you this. There was this guy I dated, right? And I used to kind of spend weekends with him, or maybe a week or more, because he wasn't living in Accra. And he's someone that after he closes from work, he goes to hang out with his boys, and he's not much of a foodie. So his diet is difficult. When you are with a non-foodie man, Charlie, is terrible, because you can cook anything and everything, and even sprinkle gold dust on it, but he will just peck on the food and so for me, I found out that the best way to get him to eat is to give him soupy foods. Yes. And so I always make sure that there is light soup, and then there is at least two in Ebe. He's an Ebe as well. So in Ebe we have a soup called the chipipi, which translates as dry soup, but it's basically tomato soup. But it's not as thin as light soup, and it's not as thick as a stew. So you can use it to eat any swallow, even fufu, and you can still use it to eat rice. You get it. And then I do the light soup for him, and then I do maybe 2 or 3 sauces. And guess what? The light soup and the chififi will finish in the fridge, and the other sauces are there. So I realized that when he comes back,
it's not even about this. So look at putting all the spices
and all the
we are even killing them more. And you expect them to come and do magic, and you get all that in there.
No, but that's the thing. If they I'll end it here. If they come home and the food, so are you saying that when they go outside they get all this good food, that's why they
not necessarily.
I'm looking at the physiology of the man. You also want to have orgasm.
Of course they'll go for functions, they eat at work and all that, but at least when they come home, there must be a healthy option for
Right.
them at home. Why would you pound fufu and leave for your husband to come and eat like 10 p.m.
Meanwhile,
or
at
11
age 50,
p.m.?
you still want to have
You-
orgasm.
you
and
get
you
what
want
I'm
it to
saying.
function
But
at
what about instead of the fufu, you wait and then weekends or public holidays when he's home, you punch the fufu for him, or he might even eat the fufu at work.
Right.
So what about making soup with maybe bread, some slices of bread, or maybe a small portion of rice? Okay, and then he eats it. It's light food, but very filling.
Right.
You think that your husband will? I mean, he eats the food. He comes to bed and he's
You want to have
slapping
orgasm.
around. No,
Oh, please.
Yeah,
He can't even raise your leg.
no.
Meanwhile,
You
you
get
get
it,
one
uh-huh.
sidekick.
But
That
that rice and soup is filling, but it's light in a way. Or rice and soup and bread is filling but light in a way. So you eat it, you feel filled, but it's light food. The man comes, you want to sit on him and do a cowgirl or reverse cowgirl. You not say, don't sit on my stomach, don't sit on my stomach, I'll vomit. He won't say that. Because soup lets you vomit. It's light, but you feel that, oh, I've eaten and I'm satisfied. But you give this man banku and kenke and fufu like 10 p.m. she said, 11 p.m., 12 midnight. Then after that, you want him to come and give you doggy pack. Papa, I want to do cowgirl. He will definitely vomit. You get it?
Well, it's been an interesting conversation. But to wrap it up, is the way we communicate during sex becoming problematic? Because there are some conversations that men are saying that women don't know how to communicate our feelings to them. Some even say that it is during that time that we actually decide to ask unnecessary questions. So how do we communicate during the act? Not after the act, but during the act.
Okay. Should I take it or take it first? I should take it first. Okay, so so sometimes some of my friends get silly and they ask me why do I like to use myself as examples, because I feel that it becomes more realistic when you know it's practical and it's not what someone is just saying from a utopian ideology. You get it? So there's this guy that I dated and he likes fellatio, but wouldn't give cunnilingus, So one day we're having we were getting intimate and all that, and then he asked for a fellatio, and I was like, Charlie, you know what? Me always give you a fellatio. You've never given me a cunnilingus, so Charlie, in a fellatio, I don't go do it again. But it wasn't like
in an
snobbish.
No. I was like, Charlie, me the fellatio, me I don't go do it again. Maybe they give cunnilingus. Then he was like, oh, it's because I've never given a cunnilingus before. I don't know how it's done. But now that you've mentioned, okay, I'll make an effort and make up my mind and conscientize myself to be available to give a cunnilingus. And I was like, okay, Charlie, they didn't give cunnilingus. Then I'm going to give fellatio. Maybe we go do the 69 step. Case closed. So after that, we found different ways of being intimate and exploring ourselves and our sexuality and intimacy and all that, without having to have the conversation of me giving a fellatio and him giving me a cunnilingus again. Because then I realized that it's a topic he doesn't want to talk about. And I also don't want to insist I want a cunnilingus simply because I have satisfied him with fellatio. It will make him seem as if he's selfish. And it will also make me seem as if I'm greedy. Do you understand? So once we had that conversation once is there. And for me, I was like, okay, the very day that he makes up his mind that he would give a cunnilingus, he will give the cunnilingus. Other than that, we've had the conversation and that's it, it's done. Some women are not like that. Okay. There are some women that will go like, because I'm always giving you fellatio. You're very aggressive and antagonistic and all that. But you can get your message across and not be aggressive or antagonistic, and the person gets your message. You get me? I mean, sometimes in the act, sometimes in the act, and probably I'm feeling a certain way because Charlie, some angle be part that they are hitting the thing, you see you. But then, so the thrust and the angle, when the man is in that state and he's thrusting and he's giving his angles and all that, for him, he's just doing what he feels, as in the pleasure that he feels from the angles and the depth of the thrust and all that. So you realize that at every point in, like, within spaces, they kind of change the thrust, the rhythm, the angle and all that. So you sometimes you could feel that, like, in a small moment there was this particular thrust in some angle that the thing was going you. No, then, like, you get into your crescendo. No, the thing, the crescendo,
It's as if somebody has stolen your last ball of bamboo.
And you know what I do now? I just say, Master, you know what? You
Rewind.
go back. I'll tell you. I'm like, boss, I beg, go back. But you stay there.
and I think
Stay there.
Listen.
Like, people should look.
It should be like driving.
Exactly.
Your senses should be active.
Exactly. And sex is a beautiful thing. Sex is not a taboo. Sex is supposed to be enjoyed. Okay. Both partners must enjoy each other, right? There was someone I was with that likes to have the light on.
Okay.
When being intimate. I don't like the light
You
on.
want to be darkness?
I
You
like-
want to see the
No,
official expression?
I like if it's dimmed lights, yes. So I could have maybe the TV at the background,
Oh.
giving light, but like let me tell you something. With all my bravado and all my everything,
You're shy.
I'm shy. You see you. So I like the ambience of and this person likes the light light being on, full blown light
Yeah, I
being
want to
on.
see your face.
Exactly. And you see, something must give. You understand? So he likes the cowgirl. He really likes the cowgirl, right? And me, I like his doggy. And I like the darkness. He likes the light. So this is what we do, okay? The day he's lazy, right? And then I'm doing the cowgirl, okay? Then you compromise for the light. That one, there's compromise. For some reason, we don't, so we compromise for the light. So that one, it goes on and off. You turn it on for a while, then I turn it off for a while. But when it is doggy, that one, the light is on. Because that one, and the doggy to that one is negotiation, because I have to negotiate before they give me the doggy. So as I've negotiated and they give me the doggy, I have to compromise to keep the lights on.
Right.
And you see, we are all laughing about it, but it comes back to the fact that if you have an open communication with your partner, it makes sex easy. It doesn't become a chore. And we don't make it seem as if it's something so, like, out of the world or something. And in fact, sometimes we'll be in the act and we'll be talking.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just be vibing,
Yeah.
So if you are passing by the window and probably want to hear oosh, ash, and some will be disappointed because the thing is going on, but some small vibing is vibing, you get it. But when maybe it hits some place like that, then the moon, and then the moon starts, there is that the moon will continue because you've entered the zone. Then when you come out of the zone small, then the vibing, it's all part of the fun, and it makes sex enjoyable. So I think basically people should learn how to communicate, and like we said earlier, the aggression, the antagonism, and it doesn't,
Do you want to add anything to it?
I think that I since I'm married, I want to speak to the conscience of women that are married. Sometimes I think that when things you have problems you have a certain challenge with your husband. Some people just put things in them, they cannot let things go. And when you do that, you are embittered. So whenever a sex, you want to have sex, that thing just comes out bare out of you. So you are having sex, but you are having it with some kind of alertness in a negative direction. So as soon as you open your mouth, bombs are coming. As if you're on the warfield at Lebanon, which is not good. So far as you have decided to have sex, let everything go. So that if there is any conversation that is going on at that moment in the act, it should be things that will bring pleasure.
Exactly.
Not things that will put the man off. And sometimes you want to have sex with him, but if I don't have sex with my wife, you go and report me to family members.
So let me just have it.
And then you will be complaining. So I think that you should know what to say when and how.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. I have really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope you also enjoyed it. I had this with Queen Nita and Afua. I have learned my lessons. I hope you have learned yours too. We'll come your way another time on Love Unlocked Unscripted. Don't forget, my name is Afua.
This program was proudly supported by Vena Mineral Water, Mini Cakes by Menzo, Just Wine 233, I Need Phones, Electronic Store, and Make Fashionable, As This Looks, AK's Beauty Bar, and Type 1 Imagery.